अस्सलाम वालेकुम व्यूअर्स, क्या हाल चाल है आपका। उम्मीद है आप सब ठीक होंगे, मज़े में होंगे। दोस्तों, मैं यहाँ साइप्रस आया हुआ था, तो मैं मिला हूँ कैथरीन से, और ये यहाँ पे साइप्रस में रहती है। बड़ा खुशी हुई इनसे मिलके। थैंक यू सो मच कैथरीन, नाइस टू मीट यू।
It's a pleasure meeting you.
And I would be glad if you could tell us something about the culture, the life, the food, and the vibes of both the places, north and south of Nicosia, because you live on the south side. First of all, tell me something about yourself.
Okay, I've been living. My name is Catherine, or Catherine, or Katerina, depending on which languages you want to say my name in. I've been living here for 22 years in the south of Cyprus, in the Republic.
Right.
The checkpoints opened in 2003, and I consider Cyprus to be one island, regardless of the politics, and that we should all be together. And so I cross quite freely between the north and the south. I'm very lucky to be able to do that, and I have many close friends who live in North Cyprus. And I worked mostly in peace and reconciliation-based news and peace journalism, and so that's my specialty.
What is the difference? You go all the time, to the north side and the south side. What is the main difference?
I think that my opinion's going to be considered to be controversial and different.
No, I'm just saying about life, food.
Well, I would
and
say
different-
developmentally, in terms of the way the cultures have evolved since being divided. That one side is decidedly kind of Oriental, and the other side is decidedly more kind of Mediterranean, if that makes sense. Like Orientalist
Mediterranean is which side?
is the south,
The
and the
south,
north
right.
side is more kind of Orientalist.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
like moving more towards Levantine and so even though both sides are quite secular in terms of their religious practices, their cultural identity is guided by their religious identity historically.
Okay.
And that makes it different. And also 47 years of economic isolation has taken its toll on the north, and so you're going to see a very different type of economic activity and development activity in the north.
And what about cost of living? You live on the south, right? But
Yes.
you come most of the times to the north as well, and you got friends here also.
Yeah, I don't come most of the times.
What do you say about living cost? Like if somebody's living
Well,
there or
it's calamitous because the wages in the north are extremely low and inflation is extremely high, and the sources of products and commodities to access in the north are very, very
here
limited, which makes the cost of living. So a lot of my Turkish Cypriot friends who have the privilege of being able to come to the south to work will come to the south, make money, and then use that money to live in the north, which in certain ways can be economically advantageous, but in terms of your identity, it can be very, very difficult.
All right.
Yeah.
And what about the income, the per capita income in both
It's very different.
Very
like,
different.
Yeah, obviously in the European Union, which
because
is the south,
the Republic of Cyprus
is in the
member
European
of the
Union.
European Union.
But the
What is
land
the minimum salary there? Like the minimum
for Cyprus citizens monthly, it might start at 1,200 euros.
1,200
But
euros.
that's not how it works out. You're going to have a domestic worker from the Philippines working,
Okay.
a 72-hour week in the south, and she gets paid 420 euros a month because they consider that her rent. Oops.
Okay. Okay. So my another question is, what do you like in the south side more than, like, what do you like here and what do you like the positives?
In both sides, these are very family-friendly countries. And I really appreciate the fact that I can take my children anywhere, and they can sit alongside me, and there's no age-inappropriate spaces. And that means that everybody throughout the Cypriot society feels comfortable with grandparents, adults, teenagers, children, all together. And I find that to be and we all care about each other's children. And so the sanctity of childhood here is something that's held precious, which means and children are raised with confidence, and the cost of living is reasonable here. I believe that the cost of living is a little bit more expensive in the north, but it's still affordable to a certain quality of life in my demographic. I won't say it for people who are lower demographics. It's calamitous, and it's very, very sad for them. But I am privileged enough to be a professional and for a professional look.
Okay, so Catherine, because we come from Pakistan, I come
Yes.
from Pakistan, and the situation, the political situation,
Yeah,
and
post-colonial
everything.
context.
Yes, and you just came from the south side by crossing in a few minutes. It was
Yeah.
very easy for you to cross to the north side with just an ID card, right?
Yeah.
And we in Pakistan and India cannot access to each other
Yeah.
and cannot even get the visa. So what do you think about this? Like, this is all the time like this? Or-
Most of the time it is like this in times where there is no political benefit in making it more difficult.
difficult.
And so obviously the establishment and the political parties in power will decide at different stages to make it difficult for us to commune and access one another and mix with one another. But the process of allowing us to access one another also easily. Yeah, it was 4 minutes from the Greek Cypriot checkpoint to the Turkish Cypriot checkpoint control. Allowing this to happen also helps us not create friction and problems for the government, but it is also protected by the UN and the EU right of access because, and this is heavily political, the land of North Cyprus entered the European Union in 2004. Not the administration and everything on top of the land, but physically the entire island of Cyprus joined the European Union.
Okay.
That's a little complicated.
No problem, no
Yeah.
problem. We just would like to discuss the
Simple things.
simple things like culture, food, and
Yeah. Yeah.
classes and different things. So my last question: is the food similar in south and north?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah. There might be a couple of little influences that come obviously from the mainland of Turkey, and obviously from the mainland of Greece. That keep the foods different, but and also in the north, the need for halal products and the absence of pork products for the most part will keep things quite different as well in terms of what they've done with the cuisine over the years. But there are so many products and there are so many words even in our languages that cross over one another, I would say that the experience of dining in the north and south is very similar. Yeah.
and do you speak Turkish language also?
Biraz. I speak a teeny tiny
Biraz.
bit of Turkish.
Thank you so much. It was nice
It was
meeting
lovely
you
speaking to you.
and
Thank
speaking
you.
to you
Yeah.
and Nicosia, North Nicosia. So आपका बहुत शुक्रिया, बड़ा मज़ा आया कैथरीन से बात करके. इन्होंने ऑस्ट्रेलिया में बहुत टाइम गुजारा है तो इनकी इंग्लिश आप देख सकते हैं कि माशाल्लाह चौक गुजल.
Yeah.
एंड आल्सो ग्रीक भी इनको आती है, तुर्किश भी थोड़ी बहुत बोल लेती है. तो इनसे मिला है तो हमने कहा चलो आपके साथ भी इनका एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करते हैं. थैंक यू सो मच.